Hey guys, Byron here from HobbyKing.com. I've got a brand new multi-rotor to show you today. It's the newest multi-rotor to our lineup from the Quanum brand. Very exciting because this is not your average multi-rotor. This is the Chaotic 3D. It's a fully 3D capable 450-ish size multi-rotor. So this, as you may have already guessed, is using reversing motor technology. So the props on this model are bidirectional. They're actually symmetrical, and they can provide thrust in either direction. For those of you who aren't familiar with the reversing motor concept, it's quite unique and very amazing, actually. So what happens is when you're flying in a traditional multi-rotor, your motors only spin one direction. They spin, say for the front left motors, spinning clockwise, and it only can increase or decrease the RPMs. It cannot change direction. Now, with the reversing motor quads, they can actually do just that. They can stop and reverse direction almost instantaneously in flight. And that allows you to do crazy things that you would never expect to be able to do with a multi-rotor, which is, say inverted flight, very fast flips and rolls, even tick-tocks, things like that. So it actually gives you the flight envelope or flight capability of or more reminiscent of a 3D helicopter than that of a quad. So it's pretty exciting. Now, the way this is set up, it's actually got several different flight modes, and you can have it just in a stabilized mode, which just flies like a regular quadcopter, and that's where it's self-leveling. It has a limited tilt angle. It's just like basic flying. And for those of you who are not experienced yet with 3D, it's a great mode to start in, so you can get used to flying it. And there's several different modes in between. The next mode up, for example, is actually something you'll commonly see referred to as a Ratitude or Horizon mode. And that is stabilized, so it will self-level when you let off the sticks. But if you push the stick or hold the stick full, it can actually do a flip or a roll. Now that mode does not let it do inverted flight. It will just roll over or flip over back to right side up or level flight. Now, one of the most advanced modes is what we actually call the Mad Cow mode, and this mode is fully 3D capable. So it's essentially a rate mode, means that there's no self-leveling at all, and there's no limitation on the tilt or roll angle, and if you stop inverted, it will stay inverted. Now, there's definitely a technique required, a bit of skill required to fly these models in the full 3D mode. And for example, when you're in that full 3D mode, the RPM of the motor is going to be fairly constant, whether you're at the low throttle stick or the high throttle stick. So it's the throttle stick's essentially going to function like your pitch control on a 3D heli. So as you go past the mid position, when you go up, you're going to be creating a positive thrust, which is the motor spinning in the standard direction. When you go below the middle level of the stick or midpoint of the stick, you're going to have negative thrust, which is reversing the motor's direction, which is then pushing air up instead of down. So that's how you can see when you're flying upside down, you would give negative thrust to make the air come up, which is actually, in this case, providing lift in the inverted position. So pretty cool. And now, I won't go into too much detail about that yet because that's for advanced users. And we've got a video, actually, a product profile video, which goes more in depth into this model, and some great flying footage as well. So I can give you some more details about the 3D flight capability. Now, going back to the model itself, the frame is a real carbon fiber, and it's a really nice design. This is actually designed by our own engineers in-house. The frame arms, for example, they're boxed carbon tube, which is very, very strong, yet lightweight. So they don't need to be very thick, but they're extremely rigid because of the box shape. The rest of the main frame is also carbon fiber, but you'll notice on the outside here we've got this really nice vac-formed shell with a nice color scheme on it, and it's good because it's quite contrasted between the top and the bottom, which is very important when you're flying aerobatics with multi-rotors, especially doing 3D, because it helps give you a good orientation of the model in flight. Now you'll see the stubby landing legs you've got here. This is also carbon fiber. And you've got the motors already pre-installed. And we should talk about the two versions. You'll notice this one here comes with the radio. That's because this is the full ready-to-fly version. Now, the only thing that's not included with this in the box is the battery. You do need to add that yourself, and we do that to save on shipping costs. Now, the battery setup on this 4S, you can run anywhere from about 1800 to 2200. If you're looking for a little bit longer flight times, go for the 2200. If you want the most or the best performance for 3D, the lightest weight, go with the 1800. It'll be a shorter flight time, but you'll have lighter weight, makes the model more maneuverable. Now the T6 that comes included, this is pre-programmed and pre-set up for the model already right out of the box, so you don't need to do anything but charge your battery, put the battery in, power it up, and you're ready to fly. Now there will also be two other versions as well. There's a plug-and-play version, which is essentially the same thing you see here, but no receiver installed. So you just add the receiver of your choice. You can use, one of our orange receivers for DSM-2 or DSM-X, or you can use any of your favorites, such as FR Sky or Futaba FHSS, this type of thing. Now the last version that we have is the kit version, and that's exactly it, just a kit, no electronics included. It requires assembly, and that one you can build by yourself, choose your own components, your own flight controller, everything, and for those of you who would like to do DIY style, the kit version is going to be the way to go. Now with this, under the body shell, we'll show you in some of these shots here, this comes with our newest flight controller pre-installed. It's the Quanum Mad Cow. It's a fully 3D capable flight controller, which, as I mentioned before, based on the flight modes here, it can also do just regular flight, standard flight that you would find with a normal multi-rotor controller. But the main feature of this flight controller is it is fully 3D capable as well. It's also extremely easy to set up. As I mentioned, for these plug-and-fly and ready-to-fly versions, it's already pre-set up out of the box, so you don't need to adjust any tuning or change any flight modes or anything unless you choose to do so, which you can, of course, tune by yourself. But this flight controller is great as an add-on option for the kit if you're looking for a great 3D capable flight controller to install on the model. Now, a few other details to mention. The ESCs on this are Simon K, and they are using one-shot firmware, so the response is extremely fast, very well suited for 3D capable multi-rotors. Now, in the box, you get just some basic accessories. So you've got some hook and loop material for your battery. You've got a few different things. You've got a bind plug for the radio. You have also a PWM converter cable. So this will plug into the Mad Cow flight controller and then gives you your standard servo output leads, servo type plugs, which will let you plug into a traditional receiver if you're using a standard receiver with a PWM output. So that's pretty much it, guys. Be sure to check out the flight video on the Chaotic 3D. It's a very exciting new model. You're going to want to check it out. And for those of you who are interested in 3D but not sure how to get started, this is definitely the way to go. For those of you who are advanced pilots already and looking for something to do 3D with that's not going to break the bank, like a helicopter, for example, check it out, guys. You're really going to like it. So once again, thanks for watching. Be sure to check out our YouTube page as well and subscribe if you haven't already done so.